Heyo, Tish here. This past weekend, me and my friends attended Anime Impulse Bay Area 2026. So I just want to talk about my overall experience and take a look at what goodies I got. So before I get into talking about the goods I got, I do want to mention this is my first time attending Anime Impulse, and there were some qualms I had about the whole convention. So before getting to the convention, we'll say the parking garage situation, or just getting into the parking garage, really sucked. There was a lot there was a lot of traffic build up. But aside from that, one thing that I honestly pretty much really makes it difficult for me to recommend Anime Impulse was just this one thing that they could have done a whole lot better, and that was for some reason they decided before entering the convention they were confiscating all of the water bottles. They're confiscating water. So if you had any liquids or any of that, they basically, as we were going in, because the line pretty much wrapped around the convention center. And so at one point there was in between there was a table just filled with water bottles and the trash can, and the staff were telling us to essentially throw away our water, which sounds ridiculous. It's frankly bullshit that they even had us do this, because if for anyone who goes to conventions, you would know that staying hydrated is very important, when you're in a confined space for extended period of time. So to have us throw away our water, and then not only that, so at that point I'm expecting, okay, this is basically like TSA. You would go in, I'm expecting a metal detector and stuff, just checking our bags, making sure that no one's carrying anything potentially dangerous or whatnot. But quite literally, when we got to the entrance, they just started letting everyone in. Maybe there was just too many people lined up outside and they didn't want people to be waiting in the sun, but whatever's the case, they just completely skipped it. And it's just so stupid. Frankly, why would they do this? So if they're not going to go full TSA, check our bags, confiscate water bottles and stuff like that, then do that. But the fact that they essentially just half-assed it by confiscating water, not checking for it at the entrance, and it's just what the hell was the point? There was no point. And you would think maybe they're confiscating liquids, that way vendors inside can provide water, essentially sell water at a huge markup. But honestly, they did not even do that, because once we went in, as far as I know, in the main halls, there wasn't really many refreshments or anything like that. And then if you went into the convention hall itself, where you have your artist alley, your collectors expo, and K Playfest, which is the three main events going on in the same building, they quite literally only had one vendor that was actually providing any form of liquid, and they were just selling tea. And I'm sure they made bank, because they literally no one else was offering, there was nothing else. You were either drinking that or what the hell are you supposed to do? There's no water fountain or whatever. So it's just, all in all, really stupid. Don't do that again. I hope not to not see confiscating water next year, because that is the stupidest decision that I saw being made. But with that out of the way, we can finally talk about what I got. So I'll just kind of walk through my process of my purchasing decisions. So of course, me and my friends, we went through the artist alley and the vendor hall first. For we did one sweep before going back and, you know, starting to buy things. So my first purchase was actually in the vendors hall from Out of Box Figures. So this is a pretty interesting concept where they have essentially all of these figures put in tubs that you would essentially dig through, and the figures in general were priced at like $22 or less if they were in the bins. There were some figures that were on display, I think for probably, you know, higher price, but in general, unless otherwise like marked, these figures would be $22 or less. And as I was digging through this, you know, it's getting really cramped because understandably, you know, the boxes are quite tall. You can only have like 1 or 2 people digging through a bin at a time. And so it got quite cramped at some points. But I found like 2 figures I was looking for that I was interested in. One was this one of Mikari from 2.5 Dimensional Seduction. And the other was actually Oguri Cap. It was the Banpresto figure. So I saw this. I haven't watched Uma Musume yet. And I played Uma Musume on the first day that it released globally. I knew it wasn't my cup of tea in terms of the gameplay, so I didn't stick with it, but it is a series I do want to watch the anime for. And I've known about this figure because a lot of people have been discussing on Twitter, you know, some of these figures are getting scalped really bad at conventions and whatnot, so I was just curious, frankly. And also it was cool to see this figure, like, you know, up close, even though it's in like a plastic bag. Getting to see, like, I was like pretty impressed with the quality that I saw. But it turns out that figure was actually in the not supposed to be in the bin and was mislabeled. So instead of being less than $22, it was actually supposed to be 40. So I passed on that, but it sounded like that someone else was looking for that figure specifically. So hey, if they got it for that price, it's actually reasonable, because I thought at the moment I was like, damn, that's really expensive, especially for a loose figure. But going online, it seems like people are willing to spend like $70 on this price figure, which I just cannot justify that. And it you know, demand really spiked the price on it, I'm sure. But let's take a look at this Mikari figure. So I got this figure for 20, which I think I could find this figure for a lot cheaper. Maybe around like the $15 range as opposed to like 20. And maybe like around the $20 to $25 range, you could actually buy this figure brand new. But at that point, I was just like very curious about about, you know, how this figure will be, because these figures are, you know, they're wrapped in plastic bags, they're piled on top of each other. People are picking them up, you know, some people are dropping them on accident. And, you know, it's bound for figures to, while they may not have paint transfer from being packaged like this, you know, they may have initial, you know, paint transfers already, they may have broken parts, things like that. So I'll take a look at this right now. Yeah, so I will say, like, with this, it is a nice novelty, but as you know, the consumer, just be very careful. Make sure that, you know, all the contents of the figure are in the blister and the plastic packaging, that things aren't broken and whatnot. But let's take a look at the condition. So honestly, it does look like there's some dust, which, you know, can always be brushed off and whatnot, but it doesn't look like anything is broken, which is a good sign. You can see, like, maybe the wing was like curled a bit, but I think the wings are actually curled on this figure, so that's, you know, okay. And yeah, you can see like maybe a little bit of paint scuffs, but honestly the condition's not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. Base. I actually might not put her on the base yet, but Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna push it down all the way because I plan to clean this figure. It's kind of lean. I haven't seen this figure in person, so I don't know if that lean is normal. I think it is. But I actually do own a figure from the same line, which is actually No here. And this particular set is actually of the Angel Paratroopers in, you can see like they debut in like volume 7 here. So it's this design. It looks pretty good. There we go. Okay, so while I was basically digging through the bins for out-of-box figures, my friends were looking at the Honkai Star Rail shop. So before, earlier we had gone in, we saw that there was a QR code for the Honkai Star Rail booth. We scanned that. I didn't take a look at all the items yet, I just briefly scrolled through it. But while I was digging through, my friends were looking at all the items and they saw some things I would be interested in. So I do have I'll just insert a picture of the bag that you get if you buy any item, because it's a really nice bag. It's huge and really nice high quality paper. So yeah, the bag itself, I saw like apparently I just checked before recording this video, and apparently that bag was sold for $2. You could buy it and it's sold out, so I guess they ran out of bags. But the items I got at the Honkai Star Rail booth were these two. So I got the Nihilux mouse pad. So you can see like it's in this nice container, I guess wrapping. I think this was, let's see, this was $20. This pad. So I don't really have anything to, I already have a mouse pad that I can use. So I don't plan to use this as a mouse pad. I think I just plan to use it as like a display. Either like a backdrop or maybe for videos. Not too sure yet. I don't really have any plans. So Nihilux is one of my, I honestly, when I saw her design, when they were drip marketing 4.0, I knew, I was like, I need to pull for Nihilux. I really like her design. I know initially there was some concern. Oh wow, this is smaller than I thought. There was initially some concern about her her 3D model, which looked kind of chopped in some of the trailers. But this was the illustration we saw, and after she was, you know, first introduced in the story, I thought her design, it looks fine in 3D. It's not like particularly amazing, but I still like it. And I'm really hoping she'll be pullable at some point, because it's kind of funny. I just saw like a meme today, because I just finished version 4.4 today, the main story, and I saw like a post on Twitter about with like including Welt and Nihilux, and like the caption was like, "What do they even do?" Just funny. So I'm hoping we'll see more of Nihilux in Astropolis, because I really like her character, her design, her English voice actor Amber Lee Connors. Just I really like the personality that this character exudes. Also, all the JoJo references that she has in her dialogue, it's just really fun. So there's that. I'll keep this in, I guess. I thought this was actually like a bigger mouse pad, so I think $20 is a reasonable price for just like a nice novelty. But I wouldn't use this for like gaming or whatnot. That's just not my thing. But the second item I got was this. So I mentioned in the previous video that about E2 Evernight. I'm an Evernight main, so I've been pulling Evernight copies. It's like a 1 copy for each rerun, or like since her banner run, and so now I have an E2 after her second rerun. So I saw this. This is the As I've Written acrylic stand. You know, based on the As I've Written artwork when you look at the book. So I've been meaning to get some Evernight merch for some time now, but I just like, I feel like with the AAA, or I guess the mainstream gachas, it's really difficult for me to essentially pick. I get a lot of decision paralysis going through like the artist alley and just looking at like how much merch there is of these characters, because then it very much becomes like, okay, I gotta think like, which one do I get? And so if I see something that's like very striking, that it's like, okay, I really want this piece of artwork. Like maybe they have like a really nice charm, like the art style or whatnot. But yeah, I did really like the as of written illustration for Evernight. Now, I got this for 25, and I only realized after I got home that they actually have this on Amazon for 15 bucks. So I basically ripped myself off for 10 bucks, and I don't know why this item is more expensive at the official Star Rail booth, because I think in general most of the other items were pretty much like on par with the prices they were on Amazon, on their official like Amazon store. So I don't know why. I probably won't open this now. I'll just take a picture and have some B-roll of what this looks like. And so because I purchased 2 items, the one nice thing is that if you're buying from the Star Rail booth, they actually have promotions where if you spend a certain amount, you'll get some freebies. And so for the $40 amount, you could get a express ticket, and the one I picked was Rin. Oh, it's double-sided. I didn't realize it was double-sided. This is news to me. Because at the booth I saw it was like this, and I thought, oh, it's gonna look like this, right? And then when they gave it to me, I saw this only, and I was like, oh, whoa, it looks different, huh? No, it's just double-sided. But yeah, this is it's a piece of cardboard. Nice sturdy cardboard. And a not for sale product apparently, but I did see like some people are already selling this because I think at AX they were also giving these out for their booth. This is really cool. Basically my catalyst, because I do not have enough pulls to guarantee Rin. I only have enough for one for one pity. So praying that I can get Rin, because holy crap, my archer team is kind of struggling. Okay, so for the last item that I got, I was actually, as I was browsing through the entire like convention hall, there was one booth that stuck out to me, and after I saw this item, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And so eventually I was like, okay, I'm going to circle back and take a look at it and buy it. And that item was this. So this is a little cushion of John Alter from Fate Grand Order. You can see it's double-sided. You have her base. I think this might be her first ascension. And then, of course, her Shinjuku outfit, her spiritual dress. Really nice. So I just really like the art style from this particular artist. So if I get this artist's name wrong, I'm so sorry, because I was looking at their booth. They had it kind of split off into like 2 sections, and the only name that I saw was on like this artist, this anime portrait section that basically like showed like their Instagram, and essentially you could commission an anime portrait. I believe it's Senti. So I'm hoping that was the illustrator for this cushion. But they had like Neko arc, and you could flip it over, and it's I don't know the name of this Neko arc. Or I know it's voiced by Joji Nakata. So they had Neko arc, Kukulane, Gilgamesh, Jalter, Iskander, and Astolfo. That was all of them. It's a little nice cushion. The stuffing, I will say, the artist was also telling me that, you can also just replace the stuffing with anything else. So I'm planning to do that, because I think this type of like stuffing, it's actually going through the fabric here, and you can kind of feel how rough it is. It's adding some like rough texture. So I'll probably replace the stuffing. Yeah, this is really cool. And I was so split on whether to get between Jalter and Gilgamesh, because I thought both of them looked really good. But now I'm like looking at it again, and like honestly, all of the designs look really good. So if I ever come across this artist again, I will probably buy some of the other cushions. So I got this for 30. But with that is everything I got at Anime Impulse. It was actually a really fun time for a one day, for this one day. I actually think that some aspects of it were better than, better experience than Fanime. But I think next time, when me and my friends go to Fanime, I think we'll also focus on going to more panels, because I think what happened with Fanime was that we just basically browsed the Artist Alley and the Dealer's Hall like 5 times, and then only attended like a single panel on the last day. So I feel like we definitely could have made better use of our our money and time. So with that said, this is Tish, signing off.